Okay, so today we're gonna focus on full body movement, full body integration for our mobility and flexibility. And we're gonna work all planes of motion. So transverse, superior, inferior, sagittal, right, left, frontal, anterior, posterior, and oblique. Think of it like a parallelogram, kind of like diagonal-ish. So they're gonna work all those planes of motions and just work different joint movements, like and just different movements from adductions, abductions, flexions, extensions, dorsiflexions, plantar flexions. I can keep going, but I'll stop. All right, so for the first one, one of the go-to exercises I want to show you guys is the world's greatest stretch. Okay, so there's two ways to get into this position. You can go via the plank, right? Or a lot of times just go into a kneeling position. All right, so make sure that you get into that kneeling position, right? So my right foot is going to be forward, my left palm is going to be right next, right, just outside, right underneath my shoulder. I'm going to go up, lock that left knee. Now my right hand is going to go up towards the ceiling and back down, up, back down. I'm going to squeeze my scapulars, rotate my palms, and my wrist will be neutral, going all the way up, down. It'll help stretch the sides of your glutes, going in through the side of your quad, IT. It's going to do a nice rotation for your oblique and your abdomen, right? It's going to hit your hip flexor, your psoas, your, I just had that muscle. I can't think of it. It's right next to the hip, it's right next to the psoas, begins with an I. Something. Anyways, all right, so up, down. You can do both as a superset, right and left. All right, and go all the way up, down, down. I would do between 10 to 20. It's just a warm-up. You don't need to add any weights or any resistance. You're just warming up that body in every plane of motion. Then another good dynamic stretch to do. All right, put your arms out, extended into a V. These are going to be a hip extension with a contralateral reach over. So you're gonna go up, then you're going to push this left elbow, left shoulder into the floor, really anchor it, reach over with your right hand, tap as far up and over that forehead as you can, and then come back. Now you're gonna anchor your right elbow, right shoulder, bring that left hand contralaterally over and reach, tap. Then back down, back up, over. You can go like this, tap every time, or you can hold it the whole time. Really engage that core, that whole pelvic hip lumbar complex. So you're reaching over, and you can even lift one leg up like so. Right, really challenge yourself, right? This is hard, really hard. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not pulling a hamstring, okay? Then, other exercise or stretch, dynamic stretch to do. You're gonna go prone. Put your arms out at the 90-degree angle, right? You're going to lift this right leg up. You're gonna put your left ankle on the head of the right quad, and then you're going to come down, boom. Then you're gonna lift up that right foot, bend at the knee to 90, and then you're gonna push into the floor with your shoulders, your elbows, your palms. You're gonna keep your head stationary and rotate over, tap, down, right? So I call these like a figure four. I don't really have a name for it, but you can just go back and forth, over and over. It's going to stretch here, also stretch the quad. You can go on the other side as well. Lift that leg, come back down, over, right? Over, over, okay? Next, right? These are gonna be like a variation of a Mike Tyson, okay? So you'll get into a push-up position, a plank position, right? Right? So to show you the proper plank, we could start like so, almost like a sphinx, right? Toes firmly into the ground, feet hip width. You'll lift yourself up. Then, like if you're doing a cat-cow, you're really gonna push, right? A scapular protraction. Push that thoracic up in the air, and then you'll hold that. That's the proper plank. Okay? From there, right, go your elbows, lift up, and then boom, tap, boom, tap, boom, tap. Okay? You're gonna briefly stretch your hamstrings, your gastrocnemius. You're rotating, going from superior and inferior, laterally, sagittally, going across the body, and then going from high to low, superior, inferior. So you're hitting different planes of motion. Next one. All right, you'll go into a side plank. Now there's a few different ways you could do the side plank. You can do with your legs out. You can do with your legs bent, the knee, or one and one. So for the first modification of the side plank, we'll do knees bent. You want to make sure that your kinetic chain points, cervical head, shoulder thoracic, pelvic hip lumbar, and knee are all aligned up, and your elbow is underneath your shoulder. Then you're going to put that hand on the waist like so, up, right? And then you can just go up and down, tap, right? Don't hump and push forward. Nope, that's not it. You want to push your hip straight into the ceiling or the sky if you're outside. Boom, boom. All right, and you will work that oblique. Then you can get a little nasty with it, all right? Put your hand here, all right? Or start underneath is really good, all right? You're gonna come up, switch, down, all right? You're gonna hold that position. You can put your leg out, get a little more stability, up, down, reach under. Okay, or you can do both. All right, try not to do this with one foot in front of the other. Make sure both feet are together. Up and loose. Okay. Put that hand underneath the ribs as far as you can. You can tap, right? Look behind you a little bit, and down. That's really gonna work the oblique, but also doing that frontal plane, sagittal plane movement will really be beneficial. You can lift up a leg if you really want to get sick with it, but remember, these are all warm-up dynamic exercises. You can turn these into a whole routine, but that's not what I'm doing for this year. All right, then put back to vertical. Alrighty. So you can do a typical bird dog, right? So going out, all right? Some people will put their hands, their wrist neutral, right? You can put prone or neutral to the back. You can put your toe pointed, right? A complete dorsiflexion, right? Or you do more of a plantar flexion and really push that heel back, okay? And so for these, we're gonna do, right, pointed and do circles. And then you do the other way. Ooh, this is harder than it looks. Really challenge your proprioceptivity. Say that word 3 times fast. All right. And you'll do the other side. Boom. Point. Oh, make sure as well your knees are aligned with the outs of your hips right here. All right. Palms are going to be underneath your shoulders. Don't, if you start to lean over to one side when you're coming up like this, right? You don't want to do that. You don't want to really go too far in, meaning bending that elbow or extending it too far over, right? You don't want to go on the outside of that glute, that medial glute, or put too much pressure on that tricep going to either one side or the other. Really try to stay aligned, boom, and circle. And then the other way. Ooh, this one's hard. Okay. Really good way to just do rotational, work that rotator cuff, work the base to femoral joint. I can't ever say that word all in one go. It's like a really long, it connects your femur to your pelvis, that joint right there. All right, and another one we could do. This is a pretty simple one, all right? So you'll put, right, your, let's say the left ankle onto the head of the right quad, right? And then you're gonna tap and go over tap, side, side, right? That'll work the hip, right? Side, bottom of the foot, kind of like top of that head of the quad, right? You could do both sides, all the way down, okay? Very important. Then let's say you want to work more of your back, all right? Let's say you're working on your shoulders. You can hold a ball, right? You're gonna put it in your hand, palm facing the ground. You'll lift up, back of the palm on the ground, lift up and over. This will work your posterior chain. or your posterior side, and then the other way. You can do both at the same time. Really squeezing your scapulars together, and a retraction, meaning that they're coming into each other. Protraction means they're coming away from each other. Then there's an elevation, and then there's a depression. Okay? So that's that. You can work even just smaller joints, more isolated. Okay, lace your fingers, put your left thumb in front of your right, and keep your underneath your forearms together, and then do the other way. Okay, then switch, right thumb in front of left, rotating, and then the other way, rotating. Okay. Next, you could do the same thing with the toes or with your feet. All right, you could do rotations, abductions, right? You can do dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, inversion, eversion. Really work that ankle mobility, doing all sides. I like to work all the kinetic chain points, starting from the ankle foot, knee, pelvic hip lumbar, thoracic shoulder, and the cervical, head. Those are all very important to do together. All right. What other ones that are really good to do? Oh, there's a pigeon-esque. I like to call this the seated twisted pigeon. All right, so you're gonna go like so. I'll show you on this side, like so. You're gonna walk, your palms are gonna start in front of you, and then walk them to the side. Okay. Then you're gonna reach that hand over as far as you can. The hand that's closest to your patella, you're gonna lift up. You'll look at the fingernails, then look over, extend the extended arm on the ground shoulder, and look at that foot. And you can release it after 5 to 10 seconds, and then do that again 3 to 4 times. A lot of these you can do sets and reps between 2 to 3, depending on between at least 12 to like 22 repetitions of each side, really warming up, right? Or if you're working specific body parts or muscle groups, try to focus on the joints and the kinetic chain point areas that attach, that the muscles are attached to, because that will be able to, you know, just help you focus, especially if you have time constraints. You can't be in the gym for like 2 or 3 hours. Now for the other way, palms in front, walk across, look at the fingers, really reaching over, because you want to feel that stretch here, feel it in your tricep, feel it in your latimus, all right? Reach over, look at the fingernail, then look over. Like so, okay? So those are some important exercises that you can do for predominantly stretching. You can do dynamic holds, or dynamic or static holds. You can do ballistic movements, but ballistic movements with some of these are not ideal. Ballistic stretching is more or less something like this. You could do like a mountain climber, but really just focus, and you're just going back and forth really fast. That shortening and lengthening of your gastrocnemius muscle, meaning your calf, right? It's a really good way to warm up that calf muscle. Or you can do heel raises, same type of thing, just one is really on the ground while the other one is standing up. And so if you have any questions or want to see any different types of stretches, let me know.